So, Mark, did you see Las Vegas's newest currency out in the wild, available now, the Dirty Castle dollar?
Can you have a name as C Note on X and not have it be $100 bill though?
Yeah, low rent, Dirty Castle, but I love it. His picture on there, he's taken over the place.
Kind of reminds me of those State Farm commercials where he's like fishing and he's like, "Oh, I got $1."
Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your post-Independence Day week. We have some big news to cover on this show, including hot dog on a stick, Mark, coming to the Las Vegas Strip. Amazing Brands is a company that has grown from Steven Siegel of Siegel Group. We talk about them all the time. They own Bagel Mania, which we both love, Pink Box Donuts. They also bought Piero's after that whole kerfuffle happened with the family. And then now hot dog on a stick, only 44 locations remaining of hot dog on a stick. They bought it for $8 million out of bankruptcy. And the plan is to take it worldwide, including many more locations in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'd never seen this before. I'm guessing it's a West Coast company, but so I'm surprised that there was up to 100. But I'm guessing people that live around there have seen
You
it all
don't know
over.
hot dog on a stick? You don't
No.
know hot dog on a stick? What? This is like the weirdest thing ever. I thought it was like in every mall at some point. I was
No.
surprised they only had 100 locations, but I felt it was like in the pop culture zeitgeist.
No, I think this is like maybe the West Coast pop culture zeitgeist, but I've never seen it anywhere around here. I was excited when I first saw it because I'm thinking, all right, please be like Pronto Pups or something, which if you're from Portland area or whatever, you know what that is. And those are a better corn dog, for a lack of a better way to say it. But those are like amazing. I don't know. Hopefully people research this now and dig into the comparison of the two.
It's a 1946 brand, Mark. They don't need to reinvent the recipe to go Pronto Pups.
Obviously they do. They're in bankruptcy.
They're famous for their lemonade, their whole outfit that the people wear. I cannot believe that you did not know about hot dog on a stick.
No.
But yeah, there you go. A Siegel taking over Amazing Brands. A cool name, too, of that company.
You know, as reading the history of him, it seems like everything he bought before he got into the food, kind of like he did well with it, and then it just fell apart after he got out of it.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description to the whole history of Siegel and, buying Gold Spike. We've talked about that recently, actually, and kind of getting into this food business, saving Bagel Mania, Pink Box, expanding that after buying it, and everything else.
Yeah, and then he bought the Artisan Hotel too, which we talked about a lot of times. It was known as like this place for swingers, and then became the Puff Puff Pass Hotel.
Yeah, that place was crazy. Stayed there in 2009, right after he bought it, and the TV had some interesting channels, all of that. Mark, next time you're in Vegas, we got to take you. There are several hot dogs on a stick here that you can go and finally pop your hot dog cherry.
It's a corn dog, man. I've had corn dogs before.
So moving on, let's talk driverless cars for a second. Zoox has been in town for a couple of years, and we've noticed Waymo has been all around town lately since last year when they announced that they're coming, but they always had drivers, and they announced finally they're doing driverless cars here in Las Vegas like they have in other places. So we're going to see more Waymos. They're just doing employees for now, but it'll eventually go public. And I wanted to bring this up because I think in another year or two, Las Vegas is going to be the city of autonomous vehicles all over the roads for tourists.
Are you kind of surprised that it's taken them this long to get to this point, since they are in other cities already with driverless cars? I would think that, yeah, you have to do some mapping. It shouldn't be this long, and then we shouldn't be doing testing. Like, I feel like it would be into full-on riders by now.
I think this is just the process that they go through. Zoox has some other problems because they have non-traditional cars that don't have a steering wheel and traditional things, so they have to get an exemption to be able to carry passengers for paying. So I think Waymo will be probably quicker. They only announced it in November of last year, I think, so it's been a pretty quick process here. And we also know Tesla with their cybercabs are coming to town as well.
And when it's all said and done, the regular taxis will still be the cheapest thing from the airport.
What's old is new again. Everybody hated taxi drivers in Las Vegas for generations, and soon they're going to be the best options. But yeah, the whole landscape is going to change. It already has changed, as we just talked about, right, with Uber and rideshare and all that. It's about to change again. I really like the Zoox experience is a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. We didn't have a chance to ride one when I was there with my son a couple months ago, so that was one of the things that we have to go back and do. He was pretty excited to check it out, and of course Tesla's in the tunnel keep expanding, and hopefully we get to that point where those are driverless too. And like you said, it will just be cars everywhere with no people in it. It'll be weird, but that's the future.
Well, let's look to the past. As we've talked about, Station Casinos is celebrating 50 years and doing a whole bunch of stuff. They did all their fireworks, but they also have collectible chips available now at all of their properties, $5 and $25 denominations. And then I saw this jacket that they're giving away only if you win a hand pay. So you got a $2,000 or more jackpot, this 50th anniversary zip up reversible jacket. It looks so cool, and most people will never be able to get it. I mean, what are the odds of a hand pay unless you're a high roller?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they don't do this more often with specialty chips. Maybe it's just a pain with regulations and everything, but I'm guessing they cost them around $1 to make. And if people are keeping $5 and $25 chips, it's like you're printing money selling a collectible. So you would think that casinos would do this more often. Grab one. I know there's tons of chip collectors that watch this show, so I'm sure they'll be excited for them. And the jacket looks really cool. Maybe it's just like hey, sorry that you have to pay taxes now, but here's your jacket. Still not as cool as the Sahara hoodie, though.
Well, Mark, for those who don't have all the money, the poors, they are also giving away as their free gift this month different merchandise for the 50th, including a windbreaker jacket. So you'll know based on what kind of jacket somebody's wearing how high they are as far as a roller goes.
Well, or they got lucky or not.
In a second, we're going to talk about a potential team name for the new NBA team. But before we do, I'd love to invite you to subscribe. Thousands of you are watching. You're not subscribed. Just takes a second. It helps us reach more people. Thanks so much for doing that.
I know someone commented that if we ask again, they're going to unsubscribe, but we're going to keep asking until we get to 100K. And then we will never say it again.
You're a liar. But let's talk the Las Vegas Jacks, Mark. This is another ownership group for NBA proposing to come, and it's led by Jerry Colangelo, who's well known in the Phoenix area for the Phoenix Suns and bringing the MLB Diamondbacks there. So a long history in the NBA. In fact, I didn't really realize this whole history with the Suns and how he kind of came up through that organization, eventually bought it. Sort of a crazy history with him. Of course, he's in his 80s, going to have a lot of partners, banks partnering, all of that. One interesting part of this bid is that they say they're going to play in T-Mobile Arena while pursuing the development of a next-generation basketball-centric, multi-purpose sports, entertainment, and convention venue. So they say T-Mobile to start, then something else. Maybe this is another option we hadn't thought about.
Yeah, but he's 86. Like that, I think that works against him. He's never going to be there when they finish this state of the art. So let's just say that they're going to end up in T-Mobile, and that's that.
Yeah, I don't know, but this doesn't seem like a better thing than Foley. But what about the name? Let's talk about the name. We haven't heard a ton of potential names. We kind of covered at one point what names people wanted, but Las Vegas Jacks was definitely on that list. I don't like it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I get why it's Jacks, but you don't necessarily equate it to that right away, and not the sexiest of names. I know they probably have to work around some things where they can't be like the Gamblers or something like that, but we could do better. I think we can do better.
Let's use some of our favorite words. The Las Vegas spectacle. How about that?
No.
Okay, well, I'm just as good as them, I guess, at picking
Kerfuffle.
So, I almost went kerfuffle, then I held back for a second. See, there you go. We got the name. So let's pivot to the Summer of Locals. This is the marketing from Park MGM. This is very grand sort of marketing saying, hey, it's already July, but we're going to do the Summer of Locals through the end of September. And as part of this, they're going to do a self-parking validation scheme. So Caesars is giving you free parking, but Park MGM is going to require you to spend $75 in food or beverage or something like that, and then get your parking validated. They also have 20% off certain food and beverage outlets up to $500. And then they have this return where you can hit certain number of points for locals, and then you get free play based on your account and everything like that. This is sort of weak for the Summer of Locals, isn't it?
Yeah, especially because it's tied to just Park MGM. A lot of people probably want to park there and then go do something. They don't want to necessarily go to Park MGM. So I get why they're doing that, but they might be going to another MGM property. Why can't you spend money at any MGM property to get validated? If you're setting at $75 or $100, that's a pretty steep amount just to get your car in a parking garage. So I think they could have done better here. They could have opened it up to all the MGM properties and all the restaurants and everything. If you were going there anyway and you were planning on eating there, then that makes sense, and this will work out well for you. But I just don't think it's going to attract anybody.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it was just a slow summer and that's why they decided to do this? It's weird to do it so deep into July. yeah, just a subpar offering. I mean, we have said before that they should just validate parking for people. So this is sort of what we've been asking for, but this is only locals Sunday through Thursday. So it's not all that great. It just seems like they just threw this together because they need to fill the casino or something.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if dining is struggling along those lines, or maybe the bars are empty a bit. And it's curious that they're doing Park MGM instead of like a company-wide thing. You wouldn't, I don't remember them ever like singling out a property for something like this.
So let's pivot up north to Caesars Republic Lake Tahoe. They had their grand opening or grand reopening recently. And this is the old Harvey's in Lake Tahoe in State Line. I wanted to talk about because this is just one of the more beautiful places where there happen to be casinos. And I stayed at Harvey's a few years ago, which is this same property. They did renovate the rooms, renovated the casino. You have a new restaurant by Lisa Vanderpump, so I got my reference in there. But here's the view from my room when I stayed there. So incredible. And I want to get back up there just because it's the vibe of that town is so cool. And since I was there just in the last few years, Mont Bleu turned into Bally's, Hard Rock turned into Golden Nugget, and then now Harvey's into Caesars Republic.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful area that it's a surprise that it's not more of like on everybody's list to go to. But it is a little bit of a pain to get there. Not too bad, and it's nice to see them invest in the area. Hopefully, that draws some more traffic to it. And it's funny that Lisa Vanderpump was there cutting the ribbon. They're like all in on her. Maybe the basketball team's going to be named the Las Vegas Vanderpumps.
Why does her hotel not have Wolf by Vanderpump, this restaurant? That's what we all need to know.
I mean, there's enough dog pictures on the wall already. We don't need another one.
I don't know. But let us know about what do you guys like Lake Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe, these properties. Have you ever been there? It's cool, but Caesars Republic, an upgrade for Harvey's, the old historic Harvey's Hotel. So many billionaires moving to that area on the Nevada side.
Or no shout out for your favorite Hyatt Regency there?
That's in Incline Village. Once again, I got in a fight with the security guard for filming. How many stories like that do I have? As a reminder, we have our Patreon. We do our weekly after show, other bonus content, our money saving guide, lots of great stuff over there. Helps us keep doing this show as well. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks to everybody who supports us over there. This week, they're all getting to see that cool Sahara towel.
It wasn't what I expected. It was a lot bigger and more luxurious than I figured it would be.
And to the commenters, no, I did not wear it. I did not model it off. So there you go. But let's talk food really quick for a second. I did a couple of in-kind restaurants recently, starting with PK Oyster Bar. This is in Commercial Center, Mark. This is where the legendary Green Door is, but the original Lotus of Siam and so many other places are. And it feels like a ripoff of the Station Casino's Oyster Bar, and it had pretty good reviews. So I went in there and I got my $31 clam chowder.
How did it compare to the other $31 clam chowder?
It wasn't my favorite. I liked the Station Casino Oyster Bar reigns supreme. My wife had the seafood gumbo. It was pretty good. If you're in that area, it's okay. And it is on in-kind. But we also tried Nacho Daddy downtown near Fremont, which I know is a place a lot of people go when they're downtown. And Nacho Daddy, I haven't been there in a long time. They've had locations here in Vegas for a couple decades now. But they have these pretty good lunch specials. I think 2 tacos with rice and beans for like $9. They have lunch portions of their nachos for like $14. And other stuff. I'll throw that up on screen. But the flavors were all on point. We had the chicken nachos, like chicken tinga, very good. Carnitas tacos, very good. And we got the Mexican Cobb salad, which was a salad, but it was delicious too. And yeah, in kind right now, I think they just had 35% off at Costco, but you can at any time get 25% cash back. And on Fremont East, there are like 10 or 12 places now. There's a lot going on down there.
Yeah, the portions look really big too. So it looks like you're getting good value there. And I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. And so many people talk about that place. And Matt, if you ever have a big hankering for nachos, I mean, it's like better than the trash can nachos, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit debating this. So the nachos were $14. And normally their nachos go from like $24 to 30 something dollars because they're big portions, kind of meant to be shared. And this is a smaller portion. But it had a ton of toppings. It didn't have as many chips. So it doesn't look huge in the pictures, but it was good. And all the flavor was there compared to a lot of places with the sort of like bland chicken and everything else that you get. So yeah, great experience, great service, very quiet there at lunchtime. So they also have a happy hour. Next up, I got to do Tacos Escobar down the street for the all you can eat tacos. So look forward to that.
Well, $14, that's like $7 less than the Fountain Blue nachos that you got 8 chips for.
Yes, it's definitely better than that. Even the lunch portion at Nacho Daddy is superior to the original Fountain Blue nachos. But yeah, happy to go in there. But let's head down to Golden Nugget, Mark, the only poker room in downtown Las Vegas. And apparently they just renovated it and moved it over to the Rush Tower lobby, which is further towards the back of the property. And they say they're going to have fancy USB charging ports and I think 63 seats total with 9 tables back there. And once again, the only poker in downtown Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's cool to see them bring it back and put a little bit of money in there. A lot of places have been taking their poker rooms out or moving them like a mile away in the mall. So I know that they shifted this, but it's cool to see for the people that like poker and that like to stay downtown have an option.
Yeah, and with the World Series of Poker in town, it seems like they wanted to fast track that where you got all the poker players coming. I think July 28th is the official opening where they're going to have like an invite only tournament, stuff like that, but it is open now. But staying on the whole Golden Nugget, Fertitta Entertainment, Caesars stuff, a lot of interesting stuff's happened this week, starting with the executives from Fertitta Entertainment going in front of the licensing boards in Nevada talking about this. Now, Fertitta's already licensed with many casinos in Nevada, so the same executives already have licenses, but they probably won't have any issues in Nevada, but they're going to have to get licensed in all the different states, all the regulatory approvals. And the one thing that came out of this meeting was it's going to take 9 to 10 months is their estimate to get all of the approvals that they need in order to close this deal.
That's the government. Everything moves a little, the wheels churn a little slow. But what was it in the casino where he would just change his title to keep bumping out the the background checks every time?
Yeah, just keep moving the title, all that. But it is crazy in today's world with the regulatory stuff with gaming being state by state that, and this company has so many regional casinos in so many different states. I imagine it's particularly complicated compared to other companies, stuff like that. But the big news of the week was not that, or that it's going to take 9 or 10 months. It's that July 11th is the deadline on this sort of free look period that Caesars has. And there was rumblings this week in Bloomberg and elsewhere that Carl Icahn is going to come in and try to make a bid for Caesars to outflank Tillman Fertitta. And different numbers were being surfaced, maybe $35 a share. Some saying he could go up to $40 a share. It does seem, based on all of these rumors, this isn't public information, but that the board favors the Fertitta offer. So we will know in the next couple days whether this happens or it doesn't happen. Remember, Carl Icahn, a big investor in the history of Caesars, he's the one who brought forth that El Dorado merger, and then he started taking positions in the company again in 2024. He has 2 of his own people on the board as well. So this may not be over.
I hope it is. Nobody wants him in there. Like, he's the reason that, in part, that they're in this mess. Like, what he brought forward didn't work out in a bad way, and he's just going to do the same thing again. I would think he's a pump and dump guy. So hopefully it seems like the board is kind of pushing him away or not really taking it all that seriously. And then one of his board members that he placed just retired, if I'm not mistaken. So he just lost half the people he had on the board. Which is another nail in his coffin, I think. Hope.
What he did to Fountain Blue should be a nail in his coffin, right? He bought the property, stripped it of all of the stuff, and just let it sit there forever and ever and ever. He is not a good person to have in charge of Caesars Entertainment. Now, he would take it private as well, but the difference being is that he generally, like you say, he strips things apart, tries to find value, and it would probably be a very different look than if Fertitta Entertainment takes it private, where they are an operator of casinos and hospitality businesses all over. I feel like this is a worst case scenario, getting Carl Icahn involved. We already got Phil Ruffin, who's a Icahn style guy, kind of doing some stuff, but not doing what he probably needs to at his properties. And what is it with these guys? Like, how old is Carl Icahn, in his 90s?
I don't know, but yeah, we got him trying to open up NBA teams, refusing to sell anything or update anything at their hotels, and they're going to pass away soon. Like, I don't know. Why wouldn't you just want to leave a legacy? Like, you have the money, more than you'll ever need. Build up the place, make it look nice, and then people will remember you.
And why don't they want their legacy to build a better version of these companies? Why is it just about money at this point? When Carl Icahn is 90 years old, by the way. It is interesting. It's like
good, quick
Phil
Googling
Ruffin.
there. Nice job.
Phil Ruffin, build the circus of our dreams, and that'll be your legacy, not all the billions of dollars that you made. You can't take it with you.
Yeah, I mean, give us something that's like looks presentable. It took you how long to just paint the top of the tent to make it look better? I mean, that's the simplest thing to do. Hopefully, we don't have to worry about this, but this is worst case scenario. If you think like Caesar's in a bad place now, couldn't get much worse, I think Carl would make it a whole lot worse.
The vultures are circling, as they say, but we should hopefully get through that July 11th period. Hopefully Tillman Fertitta is still the buyer, but it's still going to take a long time, and that's the moral of the story. You're going to be probably close to a year before this actually closes. So a lot to cover here on MTM Vegas.
That means we can get plenty of more Vanderpump places shoved in there by the end.
Yeah. What if Tillman Fertitta just gets rid of the whole Vanderpump thing?
Oh,
we talked Rainforest Cafe Hotel. We talked about it.
No, but like we're talking about the Lake Tahoe location, and they're like, "Oh, we added a Gordon Ramsay. Oh, we added a Vanderpump." Like, and we've talked about this many times. How Caesars just rehashes the same thing over and over at every hotel. It's like 3 names that they use, and they just do it. And I have to imagine he's going to come in and be like, "Okay, we can keep a couple of these, but this is ridiculous."
Ridiculous and Vanderpump never, Mark, and not ridiculous to put your face everywhere. So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. Carl Icahn, are you excited for him buying Caesars? Does anybody get excited for such a man? Hot dog on a stick. Can you believe Mark did not know what hot dog on a stick is? Everything else we talked about, but that's the important story to discuss down below. We do 2 or 3 shows a week. We'll be back in a few days with another show. Thank you so much for watching.